Qatar. But they own politicians, they own businessmen, both parties, no parties, all ideologies. They spread their money around to do that, and they spread their money around on terrorism. That's what they do. But they're up against a guy who's not going to put up with this crap, who actually believes in his country first, who believes in protecting his people, because he's a real leader. He's a great leader. He's a historic leader, and his name is Benjamin Netanyahu. This is why he's hated. This is why he's hated by the left. This is why he's hated by the isolationists, why he's hated by the Islamists and the terrorists and these quislings, these weasels in these Western democracies that are losing their democracies and losing everything else in their country because they're weak. And Netanyahu is strong. That's the truth. Qatar is the enemy, how Qatar had a role in the slaughter of Americans on 9/11. Qatar has oceans full of blood on its hands of American citizens and Israelis and other citizens too, as a matter of fact. This little pinpoint of a nothing inbred monarchy that was created out of whole cloth. Yeah, Qatar, or Qatar, as they like to say. But they own politicians, they own businessmen, both parties, no parties, all ideologies. They spread their money around to do that, and they spread their money around on terrorism. That's what they do. But they're up against a guy who's not going to put up with this crap, who actually believes in his country first, who believes in protecting his people, because he's a real leader. He's a great leader. He's a historic leader, and his name is Benjamin Netanyahu. This is why he's hated. This is why he's hated by the left. This is why he's hated by the isolationists. It's why he's hated by the Islamists and the terrorists and these quislings, these weasels in these Western democracies that are losing their democracies and losing everything else in their country because they're weak. And Netanyahu is strong. That's the truth. And so Jerusalem was hit last week. The people there in the bus, a packed bus during rush hour, on a morning in Jerusalem, Hamas ordered a hit on them, a terrorist attack. 2 Palestinian terrorists went on the bus with automatic weapons and killed as many people as they could. They wound up killing 6, injuring 21, and they were killed by an off-duty IDF soldier and another gentleman who had a weapon. And what is Netanyahu supposed to do? Well, we're not going to go after the leadership of Hamas because Qatar is protecting them. And Qatar is now said to be a great ally of the United States. And we don't want to violate Qatar's sovereignty, even though we violated Pakistan's to get bin Laden. We violated Afghanistan's to get al-Qaeda. It's such a stupid argument. And yet it's being made everywhere. We violated the sovereignty of a nation. While they're harboring leading terrorists in the world? Excuse me? Anyway, here's what Netanyahu had to say on this terrorist attack on this bus. And by the way, he said it at the American Embassy, which this week held the July 4th celebration late, because during that time period, you may recall, Israel was at war with Iran, and we also had our bombers taking out their nuclear sites in Iran. And so they rescheduled it, and the Israelis participated in it, were very excited. And Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, stopped over at the embassy and gave a speech. Here's part of it. Go.
Yesterday, 4 of our soldiers were killed by Hamas terrorists in Gaza, and 6 Israeli civilians were brutally murdered in a bus stop in Jerusalem. This morning, Hamas proudly took credit for both of these actions. At noon today, I convened the heads of Israel's security organizations and authorized a surgical precision strike on the terrorist chiefs of Hamas. These are the same terrorist chiefs who planned, launched, and celebrated the horrific massacres of October 7th, the savage murder of 1,200 people, the beheading of men, the rape and murder of women, the burning of babies, the taking of over 250 hostages, innocent hostages, grandmothers, grandchildren, Holocaust survivors. They perpetrated the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Now, they were meeting in the same place, exactly the same place, where they celebrated this savagery almost 2 years ago. At the beginning of the war, I promised that Israel would reach those who perpetrated this horror. And today, Israel and I have kept that promise. Now, much of the world, including much of the democratic world, or governments at least, have shamefully forgotten October 7th. But I don't forget, and Israel will never forget. Never. There was a time when Jews could be murdered with impunity, but since the founding of the State of Israel, those days are over. On this day, as in previous days, Israel acted wholly independently, and we take full responsibility for this action. And this action can open the door to an end of the war in Gaza. Israel has accepted the proposal put forward by President Trump to end the war, beginning with the immediate release of all our hostages, which have been held in the dungeons of Gaza for 700 days. If President Trump's proposal is accepted, the war can end immediately. We can begin once again to pursue the expansion of peace in our region for the benefit of all. But I want to close by directing my words to the people of Gaza. Don't be derailed by these murderous terrorists, by these killers. They don't care a hoot about you. They live in sumptuous villas. You can't imagine how sumptuous. Away from this battle scene. Their partners in Gaza don't worry about you. They go to the underground tunnels and they keep you above ground so you serve as human shields for them. Don't be derailed by these killers. Stand up for your rights and for your future. Make peace with us. Accept President Trump's proposal. Don't worry. You can do it, and we can promise you a different future. But you've got to take these people out of the way. If you do, there is no limit to our common future. Thank you.
And those people that he's talking about, these leaders living in sumptuous environments and so forth, are the ones that Qatar are protecting. So let me ask you folks a question. Why hasn't our government demanded that Qatar turn over those Hamas terrorist leaders? They are at minimum war criminals. We prosecute war criminals. We haven't even made the request. There's no pressure to do that. I'm just curious why. Under multiple administrations, but why? As I watch this whole thing play out, the Israelis hit the location in Doha and so forth, the question is never asked. Why are these people in Qatar being protected by Qatar in the first place? Doesn't this give the lie to Qatar being our ally? Doesn't this give the lie to what Qatar is up to? It's a two-faced regime that plays the West. And the Islamist scholars from the 1960s, so-called scholars, but nonetheless, they write about the need to deceive the West, that it is directed from on high, to deceive the West, to lie to the West. No lie is too bad to give if your goal is to defeat the West. And so this idea that they're involved in peace discussions or ceasefire discussions or this, that, or the other, well, they're involved, there's no question, but that they have our best interests, the best interests of the hostages, is not true. It's just not. And the proof's in the pudding. They've done a hell of a bad job. It's over 700 days, and there's still some people languishing there, more than languishing, suffering horribly.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.